Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Fourth and Eight. Fred Minnick here with a great Pro Football Hall of Famer, Jared Allen. What's up, man?
Living the dream, my friend. Viva los sueños, as they say in Espanol. And before you think like, wow, this guy's bilingual, that's about all I know in Espanol.
I know. El burro sabe más que tú,
I don't know that.
which means a donkey knows more than you.
Oh, okay.
That's
yeah.
that was something that my Spanish teacher taught. Is like the entire Spanish language can be built around this one phrase, and that phrase stuck, and none of the rest of it did.
Which is good. I went with more the colors, right? I was just like rojo, azul. You know, as a big fan of azul.
Yeah,
it sounds fun to say that.
Yep. That's blue, right? Isn't that blue?
Yes.
Yeah.
Rojo is red.
Yeah. I know rojo's red from wine, but
there you go. There you go.
But I mean, Spanish is, I don't know. I'm not gifted with languages. Like
I am not. My oldest daughter, she's already in like French 3 in 8th grade, and she's like freaking out because the teacher only speaks French. She's like, Dad, I didn't fully understand what he was going to say, and I'm like, so I do. I just freeze. I look at people when I go to other countries, and I try to use their accent in English until they make fun of me, and then I'm like, okay, at least we're making progress. You're making fun of me in English, and now we can have a communication.
Yeah. So we're doing. We're going to Italy in the summer. And the whole family is learning Italian except for me. I was like, there's no more going in this brain. That's that level of
just
learning.
Remember, in Italy, they pronounce literally like every letter, right? So we were just over there a couple years ago, and that's things like my wife understands these things way better than I do. She's like, "How did you not get that?" I'm like, "What do you mean? How do I not get that? I don't speak Italian. That's how I don't get it. I don't speak French."
But my youngest has picked it up, and like he's like speaking Italian beautifully.
That's so cool.
And he's 7, and he's like he's got the they're using it through the Duolingo app.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I want to learn Chinese and Polish, and so he's like just going around talking in all these other languages, and I think he's goofing off and like doing gibberish.
No.
And Jacqueline's like, oh no, he's talking Chinese right now.
Yeah,
like,
Mandarin. Mandarin's supposed to be super easy. I think when people say like, oh, that's super easy to learn, I'm like, let's not say super easy. If it was super easy, we'd all be speaking these languages. It's not super. You know what? We chose to learn the hardest language, Fred, English.
It is a hard language.
It is.
And we're a hard people, Jared.
We used to be. Let's be honest. We're getting softer.
Well, I don't. Listen.
Men are getting softer these days. The new generation of men is pretty soft.
Some are getting softer. Staying on the line of the children.
Yours are not getting softer.
My oldest. He spends like 2 hours a day wrestling. In his spare time, he's fishing and he's playing basketball. And today, like, I get a video from one of his coaches. He's been working on a suplexes. Yes. And it's like, and he's throwing around this dummy like it's like nothing. I'm like, like, in the way he's got the gut, I'm like, man, he's going somewhere. So I think, and all of his friends are this way. They're like, they're in the 6th grade, and they're all like trying to be like we were, and they're like, hey, can we go shoot something?
I love it. Okay. So the new, not, so what would he be? The next, your youngest, that's the second generation?
Gen Alpha, I think. I don't know.
Well, that's you better be an alpha. If you're Gen Alpha, you better be badass. There we go. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
But I've been following this this woman on TikTok or Instagram who basically tries to translate how Gen Z talks.
Okay.
And like she has like this whole thing where like they like scream in their like mouth, they go, oh. And then like when they're talking, they're like, and like when they agree with something, they go clock it, and they snap their hands. Clock it.
Oh my gosh, dude, the I don't even know what you want to call the nonsense words. Dude, like, oh my gosh, this is so Sigma. I'm like, just somebody hit him. Just. Can you imagine, like, if you like spoke that way around our parents?
Oh my gosh!
If I would have told my dad, like, or if I would have called my dad bro, first of all, and told him like, bro, you're so beta. Like that's so not Sigma or whatever the hell that
You'd have been put through the wall.
Oh, he'd have been like, what'd you say to me? And he would hit me because he didn't understand. He was like, that has to be insulting because I don't even know what you're saying. Therefore, I automatically assume it's assaulting, and you are going to get assaulted for it.
Yeah, we have a rule in the house. Like, listen, when you're out with your friends, we understand like that's your society. That's where things talk how y'all talk out there. When you are in the house, proper English.
I love it
because he called his mom bro, and I was like, whoa,
no,
we ain't doing that.
No,
you know,
yep.
And it's constant. Like, and I don't think they even
they don't. They have no clue.
They don't realize it.
No,
you know?
Nope, no clue.
So I've started looking into like their language, and like some of it's like okay, like low key, that was low key good, or high key, that stuff's fine. But there's one phrase where like I have to relook this up because I don't want to misquote the Gen Z.
All of our 13-year-old
dictionary. Okay.
Viewers are going to not like this.
Exactly. So when someone does a really good job, you say like, oh man, you left no breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
You know that one?
Yep. Oh yeah.
I never heard that one.
Dude, or was it cooking? You're cooking or something like that. Like, yeah. Like,
I'm going to cook them.
Yeah.
That started from the NBA.
No crumbs.
Yeah. I think the NBA started a lot of this stuff because, like I was like, hey, that sounds like an NBA player I heard on an interview the other day. So,
I don't know. I'm just trying to think. I don't remember the slang. We didn't really have a lot of slang. I didn't think when we were growing up. We were sagging our pants. We were sagging our pants. That was pretty stupid.
Yeah. No, this generation doesn't sag like we did. I mean,
no, we were sagging our pants for sure. But I'm trying to think like slang wise. I don't remember having like a different language,
We had, so where we changed things was the music. We, you were probably a couple years too young for this, but like the grunge movement, that was like an internal like explosion.
Yeah. Oh, then we had punk,
Mm-hmm.
People went punk. I didn't really go down the punk. That punk,
Well, Billy Corgan, the lead singer for Smashing Pumpkins, has been going around saying the CIA basically got rid of rock and roll, changed what was popular in music. It made rock and roll softer and everything because, like, the likes of Metallica, Guns N' Roses, and things like that, Nirvana, was too much expression for the youth, and he couldn't control the youth as well with rock and roll in play.
Yeah, so they decided to let rapping be called mumbling. So mumbling.
Yeah, rapping used to be really cool, man.
Rapping was great. Dude, like even Too Short back in the day, they were using real instruments. Like they were playing bass guitars, rapping. Rap, I'm not gonna lie, dude. Music from probably the 70s to the late 90s, maybe even early 2000s was pretty freaking awesome.
We still have like a really great musician that comes through every now and then, and you're like, yeah. They're back.
Yeah,
we're back.
Even country music's not the same as it was in like the 90s, early 2000s. And I like some stuff. I mean, I'm a big Morgan Wallen fan. I like guys like Thomas Rhett, and
see Morgan Wallen. Morgan Wallen to me is like he's just kind of like white boy rap. If you take a listen to some of his stuff, like
some of it, he influences from a lot of stuff, but he's still pretty hardcore country. So I also like Hardy, minus a lot of the swearing. Hardy, I think I actually like it when Hardy puts a little rock and roll back into his country. It's a little, almost like a little 38 special vibe.
Have you seen him in person?
No, we're actually going to see Morgan Wallen in Minnesota tomorrow.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you seen Hardy in person?
I have not.
Hardy's awesome.
A lot of cussing.
Yeah. Yep. So. Yeah. You know what? It wasn't too bad, to be honest with you, on stage. Yeah. Like he doesn't say it in between songs.
You want to know one of my all-time favorite concerts was?
What's that?
Rod Stewart.
I can see that.
That dude put on a show. Dude,
I interviewed his daughter about what it was like to be, the daughter of Rod Stewart. She was cool.
It's got to be interesting. Speaking of interesting, Fernando Mendoza.
What's that?
Fernando Mendoza, the projected number 1 draft draft pick, right? Not going to the draft. What's your take on that?
I
you like
actually
that?
dig
You like
this.
that, or you don't like it?
I love this.
So do I.
I love this because I feel like they, I don't think he's going to be the guy that drops, but if you are that person that drops,
there's no chance. He's going number one to their Oakland.
I mean, they got your old boy Kirk Cousins,
That's why he's going number one to to Oakland.
Is it that bad? Well, maybe
Cousins
is going to be like his dad. He's going to be there in like a dad role.
Dude, Kurt has figured out a way to make more money than anybody in the NFL, and hats off to him. That is freaking awesome. Point being, though, I mean, Atlanta paid him $24 million or something like that, $180 million.
Yeah,
didn't make it the first year. They had a first round pick, same thing. He came in. So I think Kurt is going to do a phenomenal job in that role of being there and to create a shortcut, right? To create that, obviously high picks, anybody in the NFL, they're talented, they're athletic and they're talented, right? So what's the learning gap? You have that knowledge gap, right? That understanding of what the NFL is, how it reacts, those little nuances. I had that with Eric Hicks teaching me all the little nuances of the game right when I first got there. So I had a great veteran room, which helped me just flourish as a rookie and on and on and on. So I think that's what Kurt's going to bring to the Raiders for Fernando Mendoza. Sorry. So you take Fernando, you're going to invest, all this money. You're assuming he's going to be a franchise quarterback. So this guy is going to cost you hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars over the years, right? So if you could bring in a veteran guy like Kurt, who's had a lot of success in the league, right? I mean, never far into the playoffs, but I mean, he's been a solid player, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you could take that, and if you can kind of trim that learning curve for Mendoza, so to where now you're operating in year maybe 2, 3 at a very, very high level, all Pro Bowl type deal, and he's got, I mean, then that $20 million you're paying Kurt is well worth it, because that's just an investment into Mendoza.
Yeah. Well,
I love that he's not going to. I love that he is not going to the draft, because I love it too. I'm sick. It's getting annoying seeing these guys come out like this whole parade, and I get why the NFL is doing it, but I'm like, so for a guy to come out there and just be like, he's the number one pick, the best player in the draft, and he's like, man, I'm gonna go do it with my family. To me, that is a good sign. Like that, you know what? Maybe my first statement was incorrect, right? If guys like Fernando Mendoza are around, maybe we're building in the right direction. But I just thought it was a great move. It was just like, you know what? Not be about me, flash. These kids coming out of college are so flashy. They get out in New York or wherever the draft is. They're pandered by all these people, all these fans. Like, you have not played one down in the NFL yet. You're a great college player. Great. There's a lot of great college players. Go do something in the NFL. So for him to just do that, I think it's a great look. I think it's one of those like, hey, I'm going to go where I'm going to go. I'm going to hang out with my family, and we're going to go to work. So,
when you were, was there ever like a high draft pick that, you all got into training camp and this dude's like showboating around and you're just like, I can't wait to get my hands on you,
Every single one of them. I hated everybody that was drafted ahead of me. Every single one of them.
Now, how about this? Was there anyone that was like a high draft pick that you got, that was a total bust and you like knew right away as soon as you touched them?
Yeah. A lot of them, I don't throw people under the bus name-wise, but a lot of guys don't pan out. I mean, think about it. But yeah, there's guys, especially guys on the offensive line. If you were an offensive lineman drafted ahead of me, especially in my class, I was trying to go out there and embarrass you and prove that you weren't. And then I just wanted to make sure I outperformed everybody else in my class, right? Larry Fitzgerald just got inducted into the Hall of Fame, and we're in the same draft class. And I'm waiting, and if he's probably not listening to this, but what he doesn't realize, or he probably realizes it, but I'm the very first Hall of Fame inductee from the class of 2004. Right? So he might have been drafted number 3 overall, but beat you to the Hall, buddy.
Well, in your speech,
And granted, he played like 17 years. I played 12. I get it. He was the first ballot. It took me 4 times to get in. I get it.
And Larry is also, he was the...
Oh, I love Larry. Larry's fantastic.
He was the non-diva wide receiver that you kind of dreamed of having on your team.
Larry's a complete diva, but just on the low. On the low.
He's low-scale diva?
He's low-key diva. But, but I think... But yeah, so when you go back to say that, there was a lot of guys, but that was motivation for me for sure. Then, I remember we drafted Matt Khalil, with a high pick, and he had a great first year. He had a decent, career in the NFL, but yeah, going into camp, it was like everybody wanted us to go against each other. And to be honest, I didn't even I don't like going against rookies in camp because the simple fact that like they're trying to prove it, even high round picks, they're trying to prove their point, their spot in that team, right? I have a program I'm trying to go through. I'm trying to get to September, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to win that day, and so when it all jacks up your whole routine, you're just like, oh man, now I got to go freaking thump on some rookie. I got to go practice harder than I wanted to today. So yeah, those are the internal battles we have when they're like, the team gets a new shiny toy, they want to show it off, and we're like, all of us vets are like, okay, just come over here. Just fit into our program. And we'll take care of you. If not, we're going to have to go at you.
Well, when it comes to offensive linemen, when you look at out here in Louisville, everyone's talking about Cincinnati's like draft and like how they need to really get some offensive linemen to protect Burrow.
You're not getting that in the draft. I'm telling you that right now.
Yeah,
because as a rule of thumb, any defensive lineman worth their salt, if you get beat by a rookie, I licked my I didn't care if you were the first round pick or first pick overall. Like if you are a rookie, I am coming at you. Hey, we are going to take full advantage of you. Just because you don't know what you don't know, right? And so we've all been in that situation, and you try to expose that. And that's the difference between the ones that make it, the great ones, and the ones that fizzle out. Is again, how do you shrink that learning curve, right? And so I think again, going back to what the Raiders are doing with Kurt and Mendoza. I think it's a smart play because, hey, I mean, it's a win-win. Kurt gets an extra $20 million in the bank account, and Mendoza gets a nice mentor. But
he also just did an interview with John Gruden that he's putting his kids in wrestling. So he's making his rounds in the wrestling circuit as
Mendoza.
As like, no, Cousins.
Oh, okay, yeah. Good for him.
Yeah, because he's like.
Well, I hear great things about Kurt as a person. Like I know people in Minnesota. They loved him,
except in the playoffs.
That's been my whole critique, right?
Yeah.
You eventually you have to pay franchise quarterback money. You have to have a proven track record in the playoffs. You have to be able what is that next step, right? And I think what happened, to be honest, the downfall is we went to the NFC Championship game with Case Keenum, right? And then they come in and they replace Case Keenum with Kurt. He comes in, they give him all this money, fully guaranteed contract, all that. And it's like, great regular season, boom, kind of flop, right? Flop the playoff. And that kind of became the deal. And then, I know he was hurt and stuff like that, and we went 500 and stuff like that. So, but point being, it's like, at that point, if you had this run, you can't continue to shovel out that kind of money, right? Because at the end of the day, I mean, you had a guy who ends up being a backup most places who took you to the NFC Championship game. So maybe just build up the pieces around that position, right?
Well, let's just say that the Vikings in the recent years have not been making good quarterback decisions, right? They had Sam Darnold. Do we need to repeat that
honest, I mean,
Keenum maybe a little different, but he was hitting
Sam Darnold. Yeah, with the Keenum thing is like he was playing really well there, and I think the team seemed to love it. So that was kind of an interesting one, not to even give him something to try to stay around. I don't know the inner workings of how that played out, but the Darnold thing, again, I was you draft JJ, you think JJ is going to be this thing. You see what Coach O'Connell just did with Darnold, right? You got okay, I mean JJ is going to be just fine for us then.
Mm-hmm.
And he still might be, right? I think you look at see what now they're doing that we got Kyler Murray, and I think that's going to create a healthy competition between those two, right? Hopefully bring out the best of both of them. Kyler's on kind of the same deal Darnold is. He's on this 1 year deal, and so hopefully we can get lightning in a bottle twice there. But I think with Sam is I would have done the same thing as Jim. I don't think there was enough body of work to warrant what Seattle gave him. But also Seattle was stacked in the running back position, right? And so, let's just say our receivers, I think, I personally believe Justin Jefferson is the best receiver in the league.
He is, he's special.
But Seattle went out there. Seattle didn't put a lot of pressure on him to be the guy. He was the guy in several games. But dude, that running attack was insane. That defense was insane. And so, hindsight's a B word. But again, I would have made that call just because I didn't think there was enough body of work to warrant 100. What did he get paid? 180 million or something like that? Like 4-year deal.
Yeah,
like 40 million a year. But maybe that's the going rate these days. And now the dude is like a 2-time Pro Bowler, All-Pro, Super Bowl champion. Good for him.
Well, also let's take a look at some of the other people coming out. You got Arvell Reese, who is the edge rusher from Ohio State. He's projected to be the best at that position. The edge rushers are kind of like the new. They're kind of like the new hot thing,
Yeah, because they're the kryptonite to your quarterback, right? You got to have you got to have whatever your counterbalance is. The problem with edge rushers coming out of college is I don't know. It's not the same. Like, there's way more violence and contact in the NFL, right? You don't see a lot of guys coming out, just coming on the scene, putting up 14, 15, 10 sack seasons right out the bat. So hopefully he can. The problem is I don't think I watched enough of his film to even be, critical of it. But that's the thing. Those are the reaches, right? Everybody reaches for a quarterback. Everybody reaches for an edge rusher. I actually was talking to a coach the other day, and he said their organization only has 12 first-round grades. What did he say? I think we'll just even say 12 to 20, right? Mm-hmm. 12 to 20 first-round grades, because I don't want to misquote the exact number. 12 to 20 first-round grades for this entire draft. Right. So now, so your first round doesn't have a week. So who's going to reach for what? Who's going to do that? And then you got to look at, so hopefully you could build a roster or not that you could bolster your roster in those middle rounds. Absolutely.
And if I was a general manager and I had a quarterback, the edge rusher is intriguing, but I always feel like the corner is the most 100%. Important position.
Especially for your rushing, because if you're leaking in the back end, it doesn't matter how good your rusher is, you're never going to get there. So
I would go corner over an edge rusher every time if you had someone special.
100%. If you have a special corner, if you got somebody that can, if you could take away half of the field, and that's a position that could translate, pretty easily, like especially depending on the defense they play in college. Especially if you go with someone that can play man-to-man. If you've got a great man-to-man corner, they're going to be able to play zone. They're going to be able to do that. So a big-bodied corner, a physical corner. See, I'd actually even take physicality over a big body who can run, because a physical corner is going to be able to show up in the run game. I just know what like Ty Law, did for me, what Patrick Surtain did for me, what Antoine Winfield did for me. And when you have cornerbacks like that, it is, man, hands down makes your job easier up front.
Yeah, those were 3 great corners too. Yep. Surtain's son is pretty dang good.
He's a stud. I got to be over there in Denver with him when I was doing some consulting, and he's just got that mindset. That dude, physically gifted. The dude's big as all can be, but he just has that mindset. He's dude, quiet assassin. Student of the game, shuts people down. Defensive player of the year, right? It's hard not to like that kid.
Yeah, I love watching him play. So that's pretty exciting. I'll actually be in Pittsburgh for the draft. I'm doing an event with Terry Bradshaw out there in Pittsburgh.
A little Bradshaw bourbon?
Yeah, we're gonna do a little Q&A in Pittsburgh. He doesn't do these a lot, so it'll be like a Bradshaw bourbon tasting. And
there we go. I got the lighting right finally.
Ooh, the glow.
It's
like I just got back from Austin, and you're glowing like you're in Austin right now. It's because they glow
I don't know if that's a good thing.
They glow the city at night. They have like all these.
I've never been to Austin, so I don't know.
You never been to Austin?
No.
That was my first time, actually. Nice town. Good barbecue.
Okay.
Different culture.
Texas barbecue? Yeah, just
very different culture. But we hit the moon again, and we've already got people saying we didn't do it. Already got conspiracy theories popping out.
Because we didn't land on the moon. We went around the moon.
No.
We went around it.
That's fair.
Why does everybody say we went to the moon again? We did not go to the moon. We were like 4,000 miles away from the moon. We went around it. And I'll be honest, the dark side of the moon looks a lot like the front side of the moon, just shadowed.
Pink Floyd was wrong.
I was like you know, they showed that one picture, like the first ever photo of the dark side of the moon, and the Earth was in the background. It was a dope photo, but I'm like, this still just looks like the moon, like a bunch of craters. I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to be looking at with the eclipse. But again, super cool. The fact that we were that far out there in space, like 252,000 miles away from Earth. I think those photos put any flat earthers to rest.
It'll never stop. Yeah, it'll never stop.
You know what? And you know what? And I'm okay with it. It gives us something to laugh about.
Yeah.
But again, we didn't land on the moon. And all I'm wondering is why? Like, why now? What's so important about getting back to the moon now? Like, literally 56 years later after we landed on it. Well, supposedly we're going to build a space. We're going to build a space station on the moon, on the backside of the moon there, to launch to Mars.
So here's my thing that I'll throw out there. And your buddy last week, you know, kind of like confirmed that like. I feel like there was probably a different operation going on in space.
100%.
While that was happening.
That was a diversion tactic. We actually were on the moon. We were on the moon building. We were building a space station on the moon. That was the diversion tactic.
There's an actual missile getting set up right here, you know. But I just everything right now happening in our world, I just don't believe anything. And I'm like, I see it, and I'm like, okay, what's really happening, you know?
Well, it goes back to, remember, who was it that we were talking to about AI? Like, are we even real?
Well, yeah.
What if that was AI generated?
Yeah, I mean, some of it could have been. Yeah.
And you could travel 252,000 plus miles round trip, or actually you had to come back, right? So it's like 500,000 miles round trip. And the only thing that went wrong was a toilet issue. Not sure if I'm buying it, Fred. Not sure if I'm buying it.
That is the one thing that would go faulty.
Yeah.
The other thing, the one thing that really took me by surprise was how we could listen in on all the communications.
Except when they were on the backside of the moon.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, they couldn't even communicate with their superiors.
Yeah, they lost.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. They lost track. Here's the other thing, though, too. Like, I'm assuming it took some years to plan this trip, right? Mm-hmm. Would you not be like, hey, let's preemptively throw a satellite up there that could connect us to the backside of the moon?
Maybe.
Who knows?
There's also the other thing is, like, as soon as this happened, I saw a report that NASA's budget's going to get cut like in half or something crazy like that. It's like oh. So maybe this was their last hurrah.
That was the last hurrah. Like, hey, we got to make sure we get back to the moon.
Yeah.
But again, why? Okay, I understand why we went to the moon the first time. I use quotes for all those who don't believe we actually went to the moon. My question is, I want to know why so long, and why was this time so special that we went all the way around the moon? Because didn't we do like a slingshot the first time to land on it?
Yeah. So.
Why didn't we have the equation. We know how to do it. Why didn't we just go back and land on the moon and then get on the little rover thing and drive to the other side of the moon? That would have been a cooler story. Like a 4-day road trip on the moon in the rover. You know what I mean?
You know, something that, and by the way, the budget cut that story just came out like within the last couple of days. 23% proposed.
Let's pretend that we're dropping it on this show.
Yep.
Fourth and Neat.
Breaking news here. The White House has confirmed with us here on Fourth and Neat that they are cutting the proposed NASA budget by like 25%.
We need to use our very minimal status in this world and try to get like a high-ranking official on our show to talk about this stuff.
We should. I think it'd be a great interview. I think we'd be a good interview.
I think so too. I'm curious. I would like to see our viewers' comments if they wish we had more guests, because we always talk about having more guests, but then you and I both kind of get lazy about it, and we just like BSing with each other.
BSing is a very solid thing to do. It's a good structure to the show, but it's always nice to have someone to BS with as well.
I get it. That's why I got you, buddy. All right, now let's talk about some serious breaking news in the bourbon world, in the whiskey world. This is nuts. I never thought I would hear this day that this is happening.
So Brown-Forman is entertaining suitors to be acquired or quote merge, and Pernod Ricard came out last week that they're in talks with Brown-Forman to acquire it. Now, Pernod Ricard is a French company. They have Absolute, they have Jameson. They basically have the majority of the Irish whiskey that's on the market, and they're the second largest spirits company in the world behind Diageo.
So what is that gonna sell for? That's got to be, tens of billions,
way billions,
hundreds of billions.
Yeah,
not lots of. No way, 100.
No, not
Jack Daniel's. Jack Daniel's number
billions.
7. Jack Daniel number 7 is doing like almost a million. What are they doing? A million plus bottles a month.
The only comp that I would have would be Jim Beam. Jim Beam sold in 2014 to Suntory. Let me see what that went for. I think it went for 14 million or something like that. 9 million.
14 billion.
A billion, yeah. Let's see what that.
But with that said, Jack Daniel's
went for 16 billion.
And Jack Daniel's though has every well account on the face of the earth.
Yeah, it's the number one whiskey in the world.
Jack Daniel's number 7. That's what I'm saying. So I guess my question would be, I read somewhere one time, and this could be grossly inaccurate, but they're doing something like 1 million cases a month or a year. They're doing 1 million cases a year. Is it?
It's staggering. Yeah,
1 million cases a year.
More than that. So Jack Daniel's, I don't know their exact case count. Let's actually Google that. Jack Daniel's
case volume per year.
Volume. It's a lot. 75 million cases last year.
Yeah, so that's what I was right. It's like a couple million a month almost. 75 million cases last year.
Yeah.
Total.
And that was a bad year.
Oh, yeah. That's literally, what is that? That's divide that out by 12. What do you get? Roughly. So 15, so 3, let's just say they're doing like 4 million cases. More than that. 5 would be 60. 6 would be 72.
You're a new brand. I just want to sell 30,000 cases.
60. They're doing literally roughly 6 million cases a month.
Yeah,
that's insane.
I'm impressed that you did math so quickly like that.
Math was my thing. Math is kind of my thing.
I like that.
Yeah.
So Pernod Ricard's coming at him hard, and then out of nowhere this week, Sazerac, which is the parent company of Buffalo Trace, is said to be, and it's been confirmed that they are making a run at Jack Daniel's as well. And I like that fit a lot better because that's an American company, and they've got a lot of roots in Kentucky. And I don't feel like the employees of Brown-Forman would be hit as bad if an American company took them over, whereas if a French company did, Louisville would be devastated. They'd be moving offices to New York or Chicago or LA or Paris or wherever.
Well, yeah, and then it's just world.
Then Louisville
expansion, right? It's just
it would be bad for Louisville, I think.
Although you think they would have to keep the operator. You still got to stay in Lynchburg, right? You're not going to move your distillation.
That's not changing. Yeah,
you got to keep it out of Tennessee. Well, first of all, you couldn't move it, right? Because you'd have to keep it out of Tennessee.
Yeah, you would the distillery, yes, but Brown-Forman's headquarters and all their administration and marketing and all that, they're
would be gone.
Their pulse is in.
But what would Buffalo Trace do? Just keep? They're already in Louisville, probably, right?
Yeah, they're already in Louisville, and they're just down the road in Frankfurt, and so they would just keep those buildings and everything.
What obviously, I see the benefit, right? The benefit is
that could be more of a true merger too.
Yeah,
because
do you think someone
Mark
like that,
Brown, who is the CEO of Sazerac, came from Jack Daniel's, and so he knows there is a lot of
synergy there.
So I feel like that would be that'd be a much easier transition for other people.
But with Sazeracs, they have so many great high quality, high end bourbons. So is that play for them just mass distribution? They want the number 7. They want those 6 million cases.
They got Fireball, so they already got Fireballs. They want
I feel like that's going to gimmick out at some point, right?
Yeah. I mean, now it's Buzzballs. Buzzball is the one, but the truth is that I think they would probably do a good job with it.
There's no better single brand in pure branding. I don't think there is a better brand than Old Number 7, right? I mean,
yeah.
In fact, Jack Daniels is sung about every song. Anybody that talks about wanting when they go to bar, give me a JD, right? I mean, that Number 7 branding, their brand equity is probably some of the strongest.
Oh, it's up there with
ever.
It's up there with Coca-Cola. It's a top 50 American brand.
It's got to be a top 5.
It's the most counterfeited, spirit in the world. So
really, did not know that either.
Yeah, if you go to somewhere like Laos or somewhere in China, you're not drinking Jack Daniels.
First of all, who's going to Laos and ordering a Jack Daniels? Right?
Hey, listen, you never know.
Know where you're at.
Yeah.
Be honest, I'm not ordering anything in Laos. Did you not see that? I think it was like a Dateline where there was like 7 people ended up dead because they got poisoned with it was like homemade alcohol or something.
Yeah, those places it's bad.
Yeah.
That's why I tell people to smell your alcohol if you're in one of those vacation resorts, Yeah. Don't be drinking things that smell like turpentine.
Right? Like, what's this? What's this? Pine Sol?
Mm-hmm.
Looks delicious.
Yeah, Pine Sol. Don't drink Pine Sol.
The old gut.
Well, I really feel like too, like if they're trying to set it up as an emerger, but if Pernod Ricard does it, I feel like it's going to be more of an acquisition.
100%.
And they don't necessarily have. They can't outright buy them, so they would have to be some sort of, but they would come out as the one on top. Whereas if Sazerac does it, they're private. Bill Goldring is he's in the Forbes top 200 for a reason. I do think
Jack Daniels is such an American staple as a company, right? So you'd be great to see him in Sazerac. But I think that's kind of the answer for the spirits world right now, right? Is you got to start consolidating some of these brands. Not necessarily the big brands. I think some of the bigger brands need to swallow up some of the smaller brands.
Yeah.
Right? But I think right now, like I was talking to our team and I was like, you talk about exit. Every company you run, you want to have an exit strategy, whether you plan to exit or not, right? And it was like, I look at the space and everybody's there's so many people competing for the same slice of pie, right? And I'm like, you take us, for example, like it would be ideal for us to team up with somebody who had like a $30, $40, really, really good, kind of everyday, your run of the mill high distribution bourbon, and let us come in and be the top shelf, right? We're very specialized and we're only going to focus on small batch top shelf. But that's the way I feel like, you could kind of consolidate the spirits world, especially the bourbon world, with so many brands out there right now. And you got, brands like Penelope that are so great, but what do they got? Like 15 SKUs now?
Mm-hmm.
And so I look at that as, there's so many people making some great stuff. And if there was
by the way, Penelope's parent company is, they just announced that they're going to be stopping production at one of their major facilities.
Yeah, dude, everybody overproduced in this wholesale world.
Yeah.
I think I think there's going to be a massive shift. Eventually it'll bounce back, but it's a great time to be a bourbon buyer right now. Like if you want to buy barrels, you can get high quality whiskey for cheap. But it's one of those things where I think, there was such an overproduction because everybody and their grandmother was using their COVID money to buy bourbon barrels.
Are you like, man, I wish I would have waited a couple of years to buy my whiskey?
No, we did well on ours. Like we had good pricing, and then I totally understand the leverage that I have, right? And so we did well with it. But you have to be willing to squeeze it. You have to be willing to push people to make, like, this is all you're getting out of us. I think so many people, and what we did early on was I did a lot of research to understand the difference of, why someone would source, because everybody wants to be a distiller. Everybody wants to make their own stuff. And after talking with my buddies and stuff, I'm like, all I care about is the end product. Let's be honest. We're not recreating a mash bill, right? I don't think there's only certain ways you're going to do this. And so why not go with companies that do it really well already, right? And then it comes to us is, can you be patient, right? Can you be patient to age? Can you be patient to have a really good blender? Can you be patient to just let the whiskey lead and try to create the absolute best product you can create, right? And so that was the approach we took. And I'm like, why am I going to drop $3 to $5 million? That's, what Google said it was on average to start a distillery, right? Then you got to have another million plus whatever you're going to spend on all your branding. And now you have to wait 2 years. So everybody, no one wants to put anything out that's not tasty. You can speak to it better than anybody. That's, 4 years or younger, really. 4 years is kind of the mark, right? So now you have to rush all your product because you have to make that money back. To where we decided, well, if we buy smart, and we really operate lean, and we really keep everything on a very small base deal, let everything age up, and just keep our operating costs down, we can afford to just kind of hang out. I don't need to rush to market. I don't need to rush to sell 1,000 cases.
Yeah,
and we can really kind of organically gain that market share and let people taste our stuff. Hey, I'm excited for these Ascot Awards to come out. We got our 115 in the nick of time, our batch 2.
All right.
So we got that in the nick of time, but again, we've had some great organic reviews. People, then go out and buy it and are tasting. We're starting to get pre-sales for our 115. Or I always call it our 115. It's our batch 2 is 115 proof, which it is amazing. So I think that's kind of, that was the approach we took because because we kind of came in right when this was happening. I'd be honest, I thought it was gonna bounce back faster, but I'm okay with it. Sometimes you need to clean out the mess, right? You need to get things out. And that's why I say, I think if you get more of these mergers, and if the big companies are doing it, imagine if some of these smaller companies come together and say, okay, hey, we got a great product. Let's join each other's cap tables, and then let's be a viable presence in this market space. I think you can get rid of a lot of the garbage and just really have some high quality juice out there.
Yeah, I think it is, as a whiskey drinker, it's an exciting time. Yeah, I think I'm tasting things that, products that I dismissed years ago, and tasting them now. I'm like, damn, this is really good.
Yeah, right.
It's really good right now.
What is it? Every 7 years, your taste buds change too?
Yeah, your taste buds do change, but the stocks are getting older. In Maker's Mark, it's 7 years old now.
Yeah. Well, I just saw they won Maker's 46 just won another world's best something. Well, speak to that. I just heard on the was it a radio, or I got it through a news feed or something like that. A $40 bottle of bourbon won world's best bourbon.
Well, it depends on the competition.
Okay, they're all bragging about it.
Competitions are only that they're only as it depends on how many people entered the category. Yeah, how many people entered? So our spirits the Ascot Awards, there could be people who ask why didn't so and so win? We're like, well, if did they enter? You can't.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of a contest out there, and someone can win one that has 45 entries in it, and it won't mean the same as one that has 300-400 bourbon entries, the Ascots do. So, that's a little bit of inside baseball there, though.
Hey, listen, I'm excited. I'm excited for the Ascot.
Wait, where else did you all enter? Did you only enter?
Just you.
Oh, you should have entered everybody. Don't just enter me.
Well, we rushed it to get you, so we're bottling our batch 2 right now, right? So
okay.
It's under burn off. But no, I wanted to get those to you. But Fred, here's the thing. I don't really care about awards, right? I care about people's genuine, unfiltered. Just give me a review. You can say it sucks if you want. Great, that's your opinion. Everybody likes different things. But I also we're strategic. I wanted to put our stuff in the hands of people we trust, and then also, and that's why we chose a lot of influencers I don't know at all, right? So I consider you a friend, so I trust your feedback. We know each other well enough. You're going to give me honest feedback.
Now we're friends. After this review.
But I also wanted to give it to people that just, you know what? Hey, go to your 30,000 followers and taste it live. Tell me you like it. Tell me you don't. I don't care. I think that's the best way to do it. Sometimes I think you get to these awards and they can get sugarcoated, right? I got a double gold for packaging, and you're like, okay, tight.
Yeah.
Now you're a double gold, and I'm not trying to diminish these, but when I personally buy something, the awards mean nothing to me because, like you said, it's all subjective.
I will tell you this.
I want to know how it tastes.
We had a major company tell us that they were not going to enter the Ascots this year because we don't give medals like other competitions. And I was like, oh.
Everybody wants a medal these days, Fred.
And I was like, what do you mean? They were like, well, if we enter this one, we know we're going to get a medal. but we've entered yours and we got honorable mention on like 5 of them. Didn't get anything on a couple others, and then we got like a gold and like a platinum, and then something else. Like, so you like only like gave us like three actual medals out of like 8 of our entries. And I was like, well, to me, that's like a compliment, you know, because like my competition is not about, you know, you get a medal, you get a medal. It's not what it's like.
You want a medal coming up? Here you go.
Hey, I'm Gen X, baby. We didn't get
that was been our whole thing too. Is like, you know, and that's really trying to, you know, and then talking to, and that was something like we reached out to some people, and I felt bad. Like I sent a bottle to some people, and then they wanted us to pay them for a review. I'm like, no, I'm not paying you. That's a biased review now, right?
So there was somebody that wanted you to pay them for a review.
Yeah, and I'm like that. Well, you did got a free bottle of booze. It's what you got. I'm like, I already did pay you. It cost me $100 to send that to you. So, you know, yeah, that's the approach we take. We try to be very authentic about this, open, and I think that's, again, you know, why we're different. That's kind of the way I'm viewing the spirits world now, is really trying to cut through the fluff. And, you know, obviously it's about the story. There's a story behind everything, and that's what drives people to it. But at the end of the day, do you enjoy what you're drinking? Right?
Mm-hmm. It's got to taste good, man.
And that's what we say. We're like, dude, grit and determination deserves to be celebrated, right? So I don't care where you fall at on your social economic scale or what you do for a living. Dude, if you're a hard worker and you're going to be successful, and whatever that moment is for you that you want to sit down and just have a tasty drink, I got that for you. And so that's kind of trying to be our focus, is kind of cut through that, you know, the whole, because that's what a lot of people do. You start talking to your co-packers, you start talking to this. It's like shelves. Like, how many SKUs do you have on the shelves? How much shelf space do you have? Did you do this award, this award, this award, this award? Are you at this booth? Like, we got invited to come to a couple festivals and stuff like that. And I'm like, how does that benefit us? We're not even registered in that state to sell. Like, why am I coming there? And then, you know, am I actually moving case volume there? No. I mean, I get the brand equity, I get the whole shtick of it.
Liquid to lips, that's powerful.
Yeah. And so we're just trying to hey, here you go. You know what I mean? Do it in a more authentic kind of way, just being ourselves.
All right. Well, it's time for us to do a tasting on this bad boy. Let me get out of the ascot.
I'm going to have it. We've got to stay in a bias. So as soon as the ascots are done.
Let me get out of the ascots, and then after that, I'll do a tasting of it.
Yep. I'll have my fully done sample bottles here, I believe, like Monday or Tuesday.
I've been studying on how to be an influencer.
Oh, really?
So I've got to, like, when I get the bottle, I have to like tap it. Like that.
Oh my gosh! Is that, you know? So talk about like the nonsense words. This crap. Oh, the tapping. This.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! I want to throw my kids' products out the window when they do that crap. Like, what is this? What is this sensory? Like, isn't this just so cool? Isn't this so cool?
Yeah. I'm like watching, and it's like these people are being serious, and I'm like, you have no idea how much us older people are making fun of you. It's
and then why is everything? Hey guys, who are the guys? Who are you talking to?
I thought that was offensive. You can't be gendering, you know.
Yeah. Hey guys, just want to let you know my nighttime routine.
Oh, we were at this really good restaurant, and the server comes up to us. He's like, "Hello, friend." I'm like, "We are not friends. Don't come at me like that." I mean, like,
first of all, you're in my space. We don't know each other.
I was like,
how about a proper introduction?
Yeah,
proper introduction.
How about, do you want water? What do you want? Like, don't hey friend me.
Dude,
get out of my face.
It is so funny. Like, and it's from my teenage daughter down to my 11-year-old, right? All their friends do the same thing. It's that same thing. Hey guys, and they're tapping. And half of them just are making videos for each other and themselves. Like, my kids don't have social media or anything like that. They have an iPad at home, and they make these videos for themselves. Just, can you imagine, what would your dad have done to you if you were sitting there like, hey guys?
part of me thinks that my dad would have like went to go get milk and cigarettes and not come back.
Milk and cigarettes. Oh, that might be the worst combo I've ever heard in my life. Hey son, pour me an ice cold glass of milk here. I'm almost done with my cigarette. Just flick it at you.
And he doesn't come back. It's like it's not my son anymore. I don't know what happened. A demon possessed him. All right, man. Well, it's a fun one. Let's pray for those astronauts that they get home safely. And
absolutely, all of our servicemen and women. God bless you. We love you. Godspeed to everybody. And you know what? Again, I want to hear some of the conspiracy theories based on this new moon orbit we had going on.
Yeah, well, they'll start dropping. I mean, frankly, it takes like 5 minutes for a new conspiracy theory to be created, and I think we're constantly looking for it. I met a guy at my book event. He's like, "Hey, have you heard about this conspiracy?" He watches the show and he's like, "What about this one? You heard that one?" And it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Well, by the way, I got to share something Teddy sent to me. But basically, remember how we were talking about Matt Gaetz?
Yeah.
He was saying that there's these interhuman alien breeding things. Supposedly, the Nordic aliens, the ones from the northern countries like Norway, Sweden, Finland, that area, they're the ones that are most human-like, and that can breed with humans. So I'll send you that. And maybe we'll tease that for.
That's your DNA, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he got me questioned. I'm like, maybe I'm an alien.
Yeah. Got you in the Hall of Fame, so it worked out. On that note,
facts.
Here's everybody.
No breadcrumbs.
Crumbs. Hold on.